Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Sneha Koshy and you're watching Beyond the Headline. Some of you may be okay with sexism and misogyny, whether you are men, women, or of any gender. The point is this: irrespective of whether you are okay or very well okay with sexism, sexism is sexism. The definition of sexism doesn't change, and more so, you may be very well a quote-unquote lovely person or a wonderful quote-unquote family man, but you may well be sexist, or the statements that you may make may very well be sexist. By the way, this is also gender neutral. It can be a man or a woman or anybody on the dock. Let me explain to you what are we talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to try and attempt to size up sexism and misogyny in the film industry. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the actor of a recently launched Telugu movie, Anshu Ambani. This, next on the screen, is going to be the director of that movie, Trinadha Rao. Now, Trinadha Rao and Anshu, both of them, are part of a latest movie that has been launched, a Telugu movie. The director has launched the actress again. It's a comeback movie of sorts after decades. The director seemed excited at the launch and wanted to praise the actress's performance. So what does he say? This: I asked her to gain weight as it's not enough for Telugu films. Size needs to be bigger. She has improved now. She will improve further. He doesn't say she needs to put on weight for the role. He says her size needs to be bigger for Telugu film industry. This was at a star-studded gathering. There was massive criticism as his video went viral. He apologized. Public apology. The actress spoke up, but downplayed the director's statement. In Gen Z term, attempted to quote-unquote cancel the criticism that he was facing. The actress said, and I quote, I really want to assure you all that he's the loveliest man on the planet. He really is. And I believe his words may have been taken out of context. He has treated me as a member of his family. I worked on his movie for 60 days and I have been given nothing but respect, love, and lots of good wishes. Here's a response. My teammate Adarsh, who understands Telugu, went through this video personally, and no, it was not out of context. 2. Being a loveliest man, quote-unquote loveliest man or a family man doesn't mean he cannot be sexist or even a bigot. Well, this also is true irrespective of gender. But let's not try to size up to the misogyny. Instead, tonight, let's try sizing up the misogyny instead. After all, look at these statements. And let me take you through some of them. Women in cinema should accept harassment. That's Star Dilip, who made the statement in 2021. By the way, he's an accused in a sexual harassment case against an actress. Women should stay at home, not work in films. Mukesh Khanna said this just about 4 years ago. Thought there would be some bedroom scenes with Trisha. Mansoor Ali Khan, actor turned politician, said this in 2023. If you can't slap or touch your woman, I don't see the emotion there. Sandeep Reddy Vanga, a director, said this in 2019. And then, of course, you have so many more actors and statements from Bollywood as well. And we'll take you through them as well. Let me just get in my panelists at this point. Pratibha Prahlad, renowned artist, joins us at this point. Brinda Adige, who's an activist. Priyadarshini Singh, who's an actress, as well as Barkha Trehan, who's an activist. Thank you very much, all four of you, for joining us. Well, first, let me just come to you at this point, Priyadarshini Singh. My first question. All right, I think Priyadarshini is yet to join us. So, Pratibha Prahlad, you're a renowned artist. Let me ask you this question. Everybody is saying the actor has apologized. Sorry, the director has apologized. The actor has said he's a lovely family man. He's the loveliest man on earth. What is this entire brouhaha about? What is this entire facade about and this ruckus about? How would you look at this?
It's very easy for me to say that misogyny is culturally ingrained in our society. But by saying that, I would make it seem, because it lacks accountability if I say that. The problem is, it's important for all of us to acknowledge that these are learned and transmitted behaviors that are enabled by aggregate society's acceptance of the status quo. The same status quo also commercializes and commodifies women in not just cinema, in performance, like you said, on stage, in theater, in all these fields, and maybe even in other professions, as we see, day in and day out. And it commercializes women's bodies and places men in positions of socio-economic authority over them. Case in point, producer, actor. The actor needs work, the producer is going to give her work, and so therefore she has to kind of make it seem that all is well and the world goes on. These may seem benign comments, but to me they're not benign because they are indicative of a larger societal problem. The more we accept this and the more we forgive this, the more we say it's okay, then it's going to continue, because it's, people just think that it's just okay, but it's not okay. It's only now that there's a backlash for these kinds of comments, and men are sitting up and saying that, hey, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to say that. But they actually did, because like I said, commodifying and commercializing women's bodies has been the status quo that has been accepted by our society for the longest ever time. And this needs to change. It needs to change now. So across professions, whether it is education or cinema or business or any other profession, we see men committing this kind of comments, saying these kinds of comments and committing these misogynistic acts again and again and again.
Okay.
And until they learn that language is an important tool and how to use the language powerfully, this will continue. So we have to speak up against this. We cannot forgive this easily, because it's not benign.
What is even more baffling is this is art. At the end of the day, cinema is a beautiful medium of art. And if here you don't understand pictures, symbolism, and words, which other field would understand this better? Barkha Trehan, would you agree with Pratibha Prahlad that apologizing or saying it's okay and not okay is not enough?
See, my version is a bit different. I would like to say, while the director's apology is a step towards the right direction, but it doesn't erase the damage which has been caused for the body shaming. But at the same time, there are so many men also facing that. We never talk about that. So many wives have been body shaming their husbands. I get so many cases of these sorts, but we never talk about it. We never even think that men bodies are also important, or they are also body shamed. But here such a hue and cry, even after he has apologized, and the actress is comfortable. She is saying that nothing so big, no hue and cry should be there. He has apologized, everything is fine. So what do you want exactly? What exactly do you want that man to do? He has apologized. What exactly do you want? I don't understand why so much gender war again and again for such petty things. He said something, he apologized. What do you want? Should he die? What exactly are we looking for? I simply don't get these things. That yes, he did something wrong. I don't deny with that. But at times people are in a very light mood and they say it, but we only point fingers when it comes from a man. When it comes from a woman, she is a progressive woman.
Can you? Barkha Trehan, you have made some very strong allegations. You've raised the question around the discourse that we are having. So first up, let me just make this very clear. This isn't about the director alone. The issue that we are discussing is much larger. Second, it's about a mindset. It's about the power play. everything that comes in from a gender proportion as well, and therefore you have series of such statements that come from cine stars, whether producers or actors, and mostly male. Because you brought in the other perspective, and right in my introduction, Barkha Trehan, I was very clear. This is gender fluid. It can come from any side of the gender, irrespective of which gender you are, and it's not just about men and women. But Barkha Trehan, here's my question. When it comes to the cine world, can you recount of any instance where
But
a
is media
superstar
accountable
or a
when it
super
comes from
producer in a
woman?
woman's shoe? No, that's what I'm asking you. Can you recount of an instance which was absolutely misogynist and came from a woman in power against her male colleague?
See, we never let these things come in media. We never discuss. Whenever it is vice versa, we never discuss. So you will never hear something like that because media is also not accountable. Whenever it is a man, if a man is a body shame, the media will never discuss. The point is here, everything lies here. There is such a lot of discrimination. So we cannot quote such incidents because we never discuss these things. Even men don't discuss this because
Pratibha
they know
Prahlad, do you
that
want to
they
come
won't
in at
be
this
heard.
point, Pratibha Prahlad?
The problem is
Barkha
this,
Trehan is saying
the
media
issue
is
is
biased. Media does not discuss this. In fact, I'm surprised because Barkha Trehan has come on my show many times and we have discussed this. But that apart,
like you
so
said,
what she's alleging, she's saying it will never come out in the media, only statements that are made by women in power, superstars, super producers. In fact, it's hard to even find women in those booths. But nonetheless, I'll allow you to make those statements.
So, my reaction to this is, like you said earlier, it's gender neutral, completely gender neutral. But there are more cases of men commenting on women's bodies, commodifying women's bodies, commercializing women's bodies than women doing it. So therefore, we hear more of it in the media. It's got nothing to do with the media and what it comments. And these issues are important not because of this particular director or this particular actor who has forgiven him. No. Like I said, it's emblematic of a larger societal malaise. And that is what, and these are not benign comments, because everything is okay in life, but everything is not okay right now when you try to speak about a woman's body and try to commodify or commercialize her. So therefore, these words like body shaming, those kinds of things have come into play. And I'm glad they have, because these are conversations that have to be had. And the new generation that comes up should know that it's not cool to speak this way about anybody. It's just simply not cool, irrespective of, what position you're in. And especially in a hierarchical position, where there's a producer who's giving, work to an actor, or, some other kind of a profession where a boss makes these kinds of comments, a woman has to say maybe, oh, it's okay, let's forgive it, he's apologized, because she wants to continue with her job, or continue getting roles, or continue, doing whatever she's doing, and she's willing to forgive. But in the first place, it is not right for the man to comment or make those kinds of comments. He has to be extremely sensitive and extremely careful about the position he is in, and choose his words carefully. And that's what I need to say.
Brinda Adige, if I can get you in at this point, let me read out
But now
the
what
sentence
do we exactly
that
want him to do?
the actor in this case has made. No, it's not about what we want him to do, Barkha Trehan, and that's where I think you're missing the point of this debate and this discourse. It isn't about the director and what he wants. In fact, if it was something about the director, I would not even mention that he apologized. The point is that he has apologized, but we're looking at the larger mindset, the power play that enables statements like this, and also consumerism, because consumers want it possibly, otherwise why would actors go after that? That's also another part of this discourse. So it's not about what we want the director to do, and I want to make this very clear, Brinda Adige, because I don't want the director to do anything in particular except not do this again, because he's a second-time offender. He's done something like this very much in the past as well, and he was usually criticized for that. So nothing about what the director has to do in this particular case, except for not do something like this. But the question is much broader, not about this director and actor in this case. Let me just get in Brinda Adige. Brinda Adige, here's my big point, and I want to break down what the actor has said. Trinada Rao is the loveliest man in the planet. His words may have been taken out of context. He has treated me as a member of his family. Now, here's the thing. When when somebody says like this, speaks a sentence like this, none of these sentences mean that that a person cannot be a sexist person or could not have made statements that were sexist, because you can be a loving person, you can be the loveliest person on earth, you can be a very nice family person and yet be sexist,
You're absolutely right, Sneha.
and vice versa
No,
for
no
women as well.
denying that that person might be very nice person, lovely person, family person, but the mindset is sexist. It's a patriarchal perspective that is coming out over there, objectifying the woman. So she is not being admired for her talent, her potential, her professional work as an actor, but more on her size, which is what probably, according to him, counts in the films that he is making or he has made. Now, that is what is the grouse that we have, not just against that man, but the entire boys club that gangs up and makes these statements and then tell we are gregarious, we are social, it was a joke, was said in jest. No, that is disrespectful. You try to understand the law of the land. So the law of the land is very clear. This is sexual harassment at the workplace. Simple. We do not want to find out how good you are, why you thought of it, you didn't, think of it too much, you just spoke. No. Are you able to extend the same professional courtesy and respect to a female actor? Would he have said something like that to a male? Would he have said, this guy has to put his paunch in a little more, that size is not okay? He would never make such a comment to any male actor. But he made on public, in on the stage in public, and then says, I'm apologizing if you have felt upset. So over there also, it's only if you're
Okay.
upset. Not that I have made a mistake. Not that I have disrespected you. So that did not come out like that. His apology didn't come out saying like that. You got upset. You are feeling bad. So I'm saying sorry to you.
Okay.
Such a lot of condescending benevolence. That is not acceptable, because the law is clear. Body shaming is criminal. Body shaming is not simply a mistake. If it was a mistake, you can say sorry and both can walk their different ways. Here, in this industry, across
Okay.
India,
Okay.
we've seen that they do not have a posh committee, because of which Kerala came with that justice committee. And the minute the committee came out with its report, the entire Amma dismantled itself because nobody wants to be pulled up by court. So this is what we want to tell the
Right.
people
No,
in
important points, and I
the
do want to come to
film industry.
what happened in Kerala. But before that, let me just get in Priyadarshini Singh at this point, an actress who joins us. Priyadarshini, put this in perspective for us. I mean, how important is the size of an actress to be specific, vis-a-vis the roles that they get? I mean, there was one point in Bollywood when it used to be said, if you are married, you're not going to get roles. Thankfully, we at least have several stars right now, starting from Priyanka Chopra
Everybody.
Jonas to Deepika Padukone, to Alia Bhatt, to
Everybody.
Kareena Kapoor, and
Yeah.
so many more who've
Yeah.
actually changed that narrative, at least Priyadarshini Singh. But just put this in context for our viewer. What does it
Yeah.
mean when they say that she's too thin or she's too less for the Telugu film industry and she's too big for the Bollywood industry? Isn't it all role specific, and whatever is required for the role would be done? Because male actors do that. Why not female actors?
See, I'll tell you what. I was listening to entire conversation, and I kind of contradict the entire conversation on feminism and on women body shaming and all that. I do understand that it can be sometimes can be hurtful comment to some people, but let's face it, it's a business oriented industry where business is coming, and business is coming from the way we look at ourselves as an actor. We're supposed to work on ourselves, the way we look, the way we conduct. And a lot of times when I have also worked in South films, and a lot of times they demand you to be in a particular size or particular shape, is because this is what the story demands, or the script demands, or the audience demands, because eventually it is all about the business. And it is not only for, let's face it, it is not only based on female actresses. Even today you see a lot of male actors are also be supposed to be fitter and in much better shape. So let's not make it a
This
very
isn't
big
about being
agenda about it,
fitter, though.
frankly. Sorry.
Priyadarshini Singh, this narrative and what we are discussing isn't about being fitter. Isn't there a difference between what you are
No.
saying and what's unfolded?
No. See, we try in India. What happens is, we try and, out of the proportion, I think this debate is going on. Frankly, I'll be very honest with you. I've been in industry for almost a decade now, and yes, I do agree that narrative has totally changed. A lot of things have changed in the industry. Like earlier, when you're married, they don't consider you eligible for roles and something like that. But I'll tell you what, this is a business where you're supposed to show your face, you're supposed to show your body, and this is what you're selling. You're acting, your skills, and there's a certain look which they are looking for. You cannot deny it if their actors and directors are demanding you in a particular shape,
No, that's
or
the
in a
point. I
particular
totally agree with you. When
and
it
it's,
comes to a role, you have to look that role.
yeah.
But is that how you look at what unfolded in this particular case, or how statements
No,
in the
then in
past
that
have
case,
been
I'll
made?
tell you what.
A
No. I'll
blanket
tell you what. In
requirement
that
for a
case, we
look in a
should
particular way to
no.
what
Let us
a
not
role
blame
demands
them
are two
South
very
Indian.
different things. So you have an
No.
Amir Khan who comes and says he lost X number of kilos for a role, he put on X
No.
number of kilos for a different
No.
role. It's very
I,
different from what's unfolded in
I'll
this
tell you a
particular
very
case, isn't
interesting
it?
fact, or to all the panelists, I'm sure they're not aware about it. When you go to Miss India contest, they're looking for a certain height. They're also looking for a certain weight, and also where we're discussing size matters. About women breast we're talking about. I'm so sorry, I have to talk it in the national television. They specifically tell you to get the surgery done and get it in a particular shape and a size. Trust me, it happens. Then in first go, we should blame the Miss India contestant also. And we had a lot of contestants who went to
Pratibha
the
Prahlad,
international
please come in.
platforms.
Pratibha
Why
Prahlad,
are we
please
not
come in.
debating on that? Why are we blaming only
I mean,
South
she's
Indian
an actor.
industry?
She's making some points out of her experience, out of her exposure.
Sorry.
How do you respond to that?
See, out of this, I am sure there is some
No, I'm sure.
behind
I'm sure.
story behind it.
So I'm sure
I
she's
don't
speaking
think so.
about
This is
her.
such a serious matter
Just
that we need to discuss it on a national television, and in such a big channel. You are
so
such a
can I?
senior anchor. I know it myself, but I don't think so. It's such a because I know industry very well. I am just astonished that out of proportion this is happening, because this is very normal. You are like, for example, you're a journalist. Now I'll give you no. Let me just finish it, and then we can
You've
discuss
made
it.
your point. You've made
You're a
your point.
journalist.
I totally disagree with you, but it isn't about me agreeing or disagreeing. It
No.
is about what is happening, and therefore I will allow
See,
somebody
I
who's in
think
policy
personally
making,
the
who's an
actress.
artist herself, to respond to what you're saying, being from the same fraternity. Pratibha Prahlad, please respond.
Yeah, so may I please come in at this moment? I understand where you're coming in from, Priyadarshini, and I know what happens to performers and actors and those who want to be in public limelight. But that is not the point we're discussing. The problem is with accepting these kinds of behavior, these kinds of statements. The problem is with normalizing these kinds of statements and accepting it in a larger societal context. So right in the beginning, I said this is indicative of a larger societal malaise. It's
I think the
indicative
person is
of
oversensitive.
aggregate society's acceptance of the status quo, and that is what allows. I'm a performer. Sorry, for the last 50 years I've been on stage. I also acted in cinema, and I'm a public person. So yeah, it's not about sensitive, but yes, I do have a problem if someone
I'm not talking
talks
about you, ma'am.
about my
I'm
body and
talking
not my
about the
talent.
actor.
I do have a
I'm
problem if
saying
someone
the
talks about
actor,
my
the
body and
actress
not
which is
and
talking
and
about
not
that is,
about
I
and
think she was
not about my
oversensitive.
performance. So,
No, no,
so
ma'am, I'm
please,
not talking about you. With all due respect, ma'am, I'm not talking about you, but
please,
I'm definitely
please.
Okay,
talking
okay,
about the
all
actress.
right, all right.
I think she was
Okay,
very
here's the deal.
sensitive
Here's the deal.
about
Here's the deal.
entire
Priyadarshini,
thing.
I gave you ample time,
No, no.
Priyadarshini, to make
See,
your point.
Stop.
Allow Miss Pratibha Pralad to make her point. I think we all can have a discourse. Please go ahead, Miss Pratibha.
My point is very simple. I have acted in television serials also when I was much younger. I have done that. I also acted in one cinema in a minor role. But that is not the point. The point, like I said, is not about a man saying something about a woman. It's about objectifying a woman's body, commercializing it, commodifying it. These are the words we have used. And what we are trying to say now is that people have to be careful with language, with how they put forth their, whatever they want to say. So they cannot make sexist and patriarchal comments. Like Brinda said, most of this problem is with patriarchy. The way we speak, what we speak, the content of what we say is also about patriarchy, about how we normalize patriarchal behavior. And we do it because we've been, told to do it. But like I said right in the beginning, when I started, that to say that these are culturally ingrained practices is to be devoid of accountability. All of us are accountable for what's happening and what we transmit to the next generation. So let's be very sensitive and say that these are not acceptable behaviors. These are not acceptable comments. It may be, you may think it's normal in some field, but it's not for someone to say, increase your whatever or decrease your thing. Yeah, I mean, if they want a certain body type, they should look for that body type and take that kind of a person, I suppose, in their cinema. But to come publicly and make these comments. I also remember, someone calling me a little while before this show and saying that this man apologized and said, sorry, I only said this to make the audience laugh. Now you want to make the audience laugh at the cost of commenting on your heroine's body? Or whether she's a little too thin, but the Telugu, people don't like people to be too thin. So I asked her to, increase her weight or something like that. That is not okay.
Okay.
It is not acceptable. And the sooner
Priyadarshini Singh,
women
please come in.
learn this and
And
say
it's
that,
important
sorry,
that both
these are
of you
red
come in
lines,
and have this
please
discourse.
don't cross
People
these red
listen to your
lines.
perspectives because
It's
both
better
of you
for
are
all of us.
very inherently
It's better for all of
connected to
us.
this industry. Priyadarshini Singh, do you see no patriarchy in all that's happened, this kind of statements that have been made? And as I'm saying this again, it's not just about this particular director and actor case. It's the larger narrative, the mindset, and the power equation, as it were. You see no patriarchy at all and no misogyny
You know what?
at
You
all
know
in it,
what? I'll tell
Priyadarshini
you
Singh?
what. No, I'll tell you what. It is all sounding like, somebody is like trying very hard to play a victim card. It doesn't work out like that, It doesn't work out like that. I'm
Who's
sorry,
playing a
Pratibha
victim
ji
card
is
here?
my
In fact, the
senior.
actor
I
has
have a
gone to
huge
say that there's
respect for
nothing
her,
wrong. He's a
what
lovely
she's
person.
saying.
Who's
But
playing
then
the
I
victim
think
card?
the
There's
actor
nobody who's
who is
playing a victim
claiming
card here,
and
Priyadarshini Singh.
apologizing the director, I personally think that she's in a wrong industry. She's a very sensitive person. I think she should, get into a different profession altogether, because this is a ruthless industry. We all have faced body shaming. I'm sure Pratibha ji must have also faced it. I have also faced it. We go on. The show must go on. You don't like the comment, you don't have to be reactive about everything.
Okay, here's
Show
my
must
question.
go
Here's my
on.
question,
You
Priyadarshini.
cannot be
Here's
reactive
my
about
question,
everything in
Priyadarshini.
life.
It's not just that the film industry
Neither
is
the
ruthless.
heroine,
There are several
the
sectors
actress
that are
also
ruthless,
didn't have any problem.
including journalism.
See,
So my
mind
question
you,
is,
the actress also
because
didn't have any
X...
problem
No,
after the
I'll just
apology
come to you,
was
Barkha
done.
Trehan.
She
Because
was
X is
very
ruthless
sweet. She said
and
nothing
Y
of that
is
sort.
ruthless,
Sorry?
does A and B also need to continue to be ruthless, Priyadarshini Singh?
Sorry,
Ruthless
I
is
didn't get it.
ruthless.
What did you say? Sorry?
Priyadarshini is saying, you are saying
Yeah.
your industry is very ruthless and therefore
Absolutely.
it must continue. But it's not just your industry. Several industries are very ruthless, including my industry. And
Absolutely.
therefore,
Then if
because
you're a
some of
sensitive
us have
person,
borne
I
the
am sorry.
quote-unquote
Then if
ruthlessness,
you're a sensitive
does that
person,
give the
then you should...
legitimacy for continuing, Priyadarshini Singh?
No. I think if somebody is a very sensitive person, then they should not. They have all the rights. Nobody is forcing the actress to, come and act in movies. And I'm sure, she can do many other things. She must be talented in very various other things as well, So nobody is forcing you. I'll tell you what. Film industry, we try and show, that it's a very heinous and a very dangerous industry. Trust me, everybody is, and especially South Indian industry, I'll tell you what, we are all thorough professionals.
No.
Thorough
We are not
professionals, you know.
demonizing this
You
industry at
don't
all.
like it?
That's
You
far
work
from
in
what
the
we are
industry,
doing.
right?
Far
You
from what I
frustrated, then go
love
ahead and go.
several of these southern movies, and I'm a South Indian myself. So far from demonizing it, that's way away from it. But I'm also
No.
seeing what it is for. So therefore, we also have different versions in this show. But very quickly, I'm short on time, and my director is again and again telling, let's just wrap. Very quickly, Brinda Adige, just your parting comments at this time, and I would like to go to Barkha Trehan after that. Brinda Adige, consumers, viewers, why would a movie be made if viewers don't want it? If
Exactly.
the movie does not get the moolah, if the movie doesn't get the money, the movie will not be made. So it's not just the artists, it's also the consumers.
It is the consumers, but over time consumers have also been given the message, and it is also messaging that this is what you should expect, this is what is the norm that we are trying to create. All of that said, these are things that we are seeing young people, the fans and everybody following. So the law says stalking is a crime, but my movie is showing that the hero is stalking the heroine or whoever is the actor over there, and it is romanticized. Is it okay? Is it right? So these are questions we want to ask today. When we have laws that say that this is not correct, this is a crime, that this can be punished under ABCD. If we continue, then we want to ask larger questions. What is the censor board doing? Why this kind of messaging is going on? Is it not important that every industry be responsible? There has to be responsibility and accountability on the industry for the kind of messaging that they come out with. So consumers, yes, but don't place the
Barkha
blame
Trehan.
entirely on the consumers. We have to also place the blame on the persons who are portraying all of these, normalizing it and saying it's okay, this is how we are, you cannot be sensitive. The sensitivity
Okay.
is not the kind of actor that you've asked for me and then you've come over there. She would have been told this is what your role calls for. But making statements that are derogatory, humiliating, insulting,
Okay.
and
Barkha Trehan, please come in at this point.
is unacceptable.
Sensitivity or accountability?
See, my problem is that the whole debate is out of proportion. Society often ignores men's struggle because they are discouraged. They are never allowed to speak. They are also vulnerable, but they get no support from media or any other system. But
Okay,
whenever
unfortunately,
it is
Barkha Trehan, I think your
shaming of a
video is
woman,
frozen. We are
then
not
we will
able
keep
to
on
see you.
discussing, and
That's just
we have
unfortunate,
made.
but okay, finish your point.
Am I audible now?
Yes,
I said
finish
the
your point. 30
society
seconds
is
more. Please finish your point.
always in a blaming mode whenever it is a man. Am I audible now?
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Men are always discouraged from showing vulnerability, and media and support systems mainly focus on women body image, like whenever we are talking about body shaming of a woman, the debate is only happening whenever we are talking about women shaming, but never when a man is body shamed, because there are less support system, there is no media accountability, and neither we are just with this discussion also.
I would very humbly disagree with you, because if there is a star who's gone on to shame a male colleague about body shaming, I would be there and I would be holding this discourse and I will call you. But unfortunately, I haven't seen instances in the cinema world regarding that. But I do take the point that you are raising. Often it's also lopsided in real life. But nonetheless,
and
I
what
think
about
the
the other
in
people,
cinema
the husbands?
and the artist world is... Okay. All right. I get your point. Point taken. Barkha Trehan, thank you very much for your time. Pratibha Prahlad, thank you very much for your time and perspective. Brinda Adige, thank you very much, as well as Priyadarshini Singh. Thank you very much for your time and perspective. These are different perspectives.